I think I just bit my tongue, but we'll still try and do this video, and hopefully I can get through the pain. Etepu, namaste, Harun Nefer, assalamu alaikum, may Buddha bless you. This is Qesankh Keperu with another video for you. In this video, we're going to talk about the power of the collective consciousness. I'm going to talk real slow because I think I bit my tongue. So let's do this. But before I talk about that subject, I want you to hit the like button. This is your first time to my channel. Hit the subscribe button and get notifications on when I go live and when I upload recorded videos. If you want to know more about my spiritual teachings, you can click on the links below and download free ebooks. Start reading them today. And if you want to expand on my spiritual wisdom and learn more about the occult and the esoteric, become a Patreon supporter. You can do so for as little as $1, $5, or $20 per month. You can cancel anytime. You get exclusive access to instructional videos, videos on the esoteric, videos that teach you how to meditate, videos that will teach you how to properly breathe to calm the animal spirit, how to communicate with the ancestors, to invoke spirits for your protection, to work with the oracles, and to do self-hypnosis to curb your overeating. So become a Patreon supporter today. Last but not least, share this video with family and friends so we can get the revolution started. Harun Nefer, I want you to know something. It's very important that you understand this. And it is in relation to the nature of your being. You are not who you think you are. You see, we run around and we tout this notion that we're independent people, independent thinkers. We have rights. We know this and we know that. Well, I'm going to tell you that the way the reality is set up and the way things have been communicated with me through the ancestors, through my meditations, if you understood the nature of reality and what's really going on, you would not be able to mentally accept it. And in fact, when the ancestors imparted just a piece of this information, it disrupted me, it frightened me, it disorientated me to the point of where I was like, whoa, everything that I've known and been brought up to think is wrong. Just a little bit was imparted to me. When I went to the oracles, went to the tarot to find out more, I got the tower, which is the breaking down of everything you know. You don't really understand what's going on. You think you do, but you don't. You're too wrapped up in survival mode, 9 to 5 thing, to really stop and really look at what's going on. I want you to understand that you are a puppet. You are controlled. I was talking with somebody, and they kept pressing me for the truth of something. I said, I'm not going to explain it to you because you are not engineered to understand it. You see, you are socially engineered. You are created. You are programmed. You are part of something that has gone on before you were even born. You are operating on a program. You are a program. The goal that God is trying to do or get you to understand is to awaken the true self that's within you, but you're too ignorant. I had one guy get upset with me because he thought I said something bad. And I said, do you understand the whole purpose of this is to go beyond emotions? You're violating the very thing that we're supposed to be practicing in my teachings. If I'm telling you that you're supposed to grow beyond your emotions, and I said something that you've taken the wrong way, then that's your emotional response. It has nothing to do with me, and you have not been practicing what I have been preaching, which is that you must become Osir. That nothing has a quality in and of itself. You grow beyond emotions. Nothing should trigger you, but you're triggered because you are a program. You're triggered because you're not doing the spiritual work. You're not supposed to allow things in life to get the best of you. You are supposed to be at peace no matter what comes your way. When I was in military training, when I studied the martial arts, I can't tell you how many times my teacher, my sifu, my sensei, my sage would say something that would rub me the wrong way. But out of dedication and understanding that they were out for my best interests, I persevered and became a better person. But too many of us are wrapped up in our emotions that when a friend or family member says something, you become discombobulated and want to cut off that friend or family member. That is not the right thing to do. Unless the oracle told you to do that. Did you go to Oracle and Oracle said cut off that aunt, that uncle? People say, what if you find out your son is gay or your daughter is gay? Well, go to the Oracle and ask the Oracle what should you do. Because the Oracle is beyond the influence of emotions. It's not going to lead you astray. It's not going to make a decision and give you advice based on emotionalism. I want to explain something to you. The people that are wrapped up in emotionalism are minority people, so-called the title minority, and that is done for a specific reason. When you travel the world, and I'm getting to the point of the collective consciousness, you'll notice some peculiarities that no matter where you go, whether it's white people, Asian people, Black people, whatever continent, we all have certain cultural idiosyncrasies, cultural norms. Why is that? That is very interesting. Well, I'm going to tell you that the Black magicians, the ruling elite, the oligarchy, figured it out a long time ago. They knew that if they could tap into the collective consciousness, they could manipulate the masses. And what you see people in terms of how they act now, which you attribute to culture, is not organic. It's created and manipulated for you to act in those certain ways. There's a reason why your Beckys act the way they do. There's a reason why your Laquifas act the way they do. Because it's conjured in a lab. And it's uploaded like a virus to the collective consciousness. This is what we call the 100 monkey effect. Occult magicians knew this. The grand great priests and priestesses of ancient Africa and Kemet knew this thousands of years ago, which is why they would never allow disruptive behavior to germinate. They cut that off right away. Let us explore this idea of the collective consciousness and the 100 monkey principle, because I want you to understand fully what it is, okay? So let's just take a look at this video really quick so you get an idea of what I'm talking about, all right?
The Japanese snow monkeys have been observed in the wild for a period of over 30 years. In 1952, on the island of Kojima, Japan, Japanese scientists began providing monkeys with sweet potatoes that were thrown in the sand. The monkeys liked the taste of the raw, sweet potatoes, but found the dirt unpleasant. That's until an 18-month-old female named Hamu found that she could solve the problem by washing the potatoes in the salty ocean water, improving the taste of the potato. She taught this trick to her mother soon after her playmates learned this and shared it with their mothers too. This cultural innovation was gradually picked up by numerous monkeys in the troop and was observed by the scientists. Between 1952 and 1958, all the young monkeys learned to wash their sandy sweet potatoes and make them taste much better. Only the adults who did this as their children did, learned this cultural improvement. Some older adults did not right away. In the autumn of 1958, something startling took place. A large number of snow monkeys were washing their sweet potatoes. The exact number was not known. The hypothetical number given was 99. And then it happened. The 100th monkey learned to wash their sweet potato. This added energy of the 100th monkey somehow created a conscious breakthrough. Almost everyone in the troop was washing their potatoes before eating them. What's surprising, an occurrence happened that was observed by the scientists. The habit of washing sweet potatoes had jumped overseas. Colonies of monkeys on other islands and the main island troop began washing their potatoes. Throughout, the exact number may vary. However, this 100th monkey phenomenon means that only when a limited number of individuals knows a new way, it remains the conscious property of those individuals. However, when one or more individuals manifest this new awareness, the field is strengthened and a critical mass is reached, and the awareness becomes the conscious property of all, becoming available within the collective consciousness for those who desire to adopt the idea. This can be also noted as morphic resonance. Conscious awareness is the conscious aspect of the mind involving our relationship with the world and self and our relationship to it. When we shift our awareness of frequency from self-consciousness, where fear, impossibility, or feelings of separation reside, and into one of a cosmic consciousness, which is the total harmony and oneness with the universe, feelings of fear, separation begin to dissipate. With conscious intention, send yourself the frequencies of In Lakesh and Veritas, which is oneness and truth.
Okay. So one of the things the ruling elite did was to trap us into the ego and to have us operate from that paradigm so that we would never connect to source and experience oneness. What you are, the things that I see in terms of the way Asian people tend to act and their little quirks here and there, those have become part of the racial memory or part of the upload to the collective consciousness. And the reason it does that is because it reached the critical mass, the so-called tipping point. Now, some have theorized that this tipping point is 12%. Others say it's 25% of a group. So if we would say, for example, 14 million African Americans in North America, for a change in behavior of those 14 million African Americans, the new behavior would need to be introduced to at least 25% of that population, and then it would spread like a virus. This is validated. This has always been known in occult practices. And I want you to understand that this knowledge is being used against you. It is being used to target men, target women, and to have you act in ways of separation. And it creates what the ruler elite wants, which is friction and separation. This is why questions may be asked like, well, why can't African Americans pull themselves up from their bootstrap? Why are they like crabs in a barrel at each other's throat? Because I've always said this. They're designed that way. We're designed to fight each other. We're designed to thwart our own efforts at freedom, at liberation, at equality. Because when you are a black hat magician, and you want to control the population, you can do so through remote control, which is the 100 monkey effect. The problem is we have not learned to take this and turn it and use it for our own benefit to galvanize and organize the masses of us. You can do so without putting together an organization, without having meetings and rallies and the Million Man March or whatever. You introduce a behavior to the critical mass, which we also call this morphic resonance, and watch that behavior take root, blossom, and come to fruition. And you'll see everybody mimicking the behavior. Imagine if we all dropped the ego and became connected to source. We would love each other. There would be harmony. Or imagine if Black people were in one accord or on one page in terms of reparations and liberation. You see, the 1% rule the 99% on the planet. How is that possible? Stop thinking physical. We're dealing with occult forces here. These people are diabolical and they're evil geniuses. People talk about the gender war. I say because women are targeted through the 100 monkey effect. They introduced the idea of toxic masculinity. They introduced these notions of Me Too to women, and they hit that tipping point, and then it spreads to all women in North America, then spreads to all women globally. They know what they are doing. This is what Hitler was doing. An evil madman would have his Third Reich rituals or meetings where he was trying to influence the masses of Germans to be in one accord. And through occult means, because he was into the occult, use that to take over the planet. Luckily, and thank God, there were forces that stopped him. If we want to succeed and get out of the condition that we are in, we first have to realize that we're like robots. We are operating on that program that has been downloaded. You think you operate autonomously. You think you're independent. You're not. You're parroting and you're acting based off the behavior patterns that have been uploaded by the oligarchy into the collective consciousness, reaching the tipping point, and now you're doing their bidding and you don't even realize you're doing it. That's the whole insidious nature of the plan, is that you're not even aware that you're an agent. I see young men come to me and say, well, how can we stop this? Should we collectively organize? Should we start talking to other people? I said, talking to who? Talking to those programs? They're going to turn you in. They're going to betray you. So what should we do, Qesankh? I said, we're going to have to raise your vibration to a higher level so that it affects people. And then you can, by merely doing that, you bring them into the fold. Let's go on and just see if I can talk a little bit more about this, okay? So you understand the seriousness of the problem and where we're in, what the condition that we're in. Here's an article in Scientific American. The 25% revolution, how big does a minority have to be to reshape society? Do you understand the dangerous nature of that title? You're talking about a publication that is printing an article on reshaping society. So if this publication available on your newsstands is talking this talk, then behind the scenes, what do you think the ruling elite is doing? Far worse. Let's go into this. A committed few can influence the many and sweep away social conventions, new research shows. Social change from evolving attitudes toward gender and notice what they said, from evolving attitudes toward gender and marijuana to the rise of Donald Trump to the emergence of the Black Lives Matter and Me Too, hashtag Me Too movements is a constant. It is also mysterious, or so it can seem. Look at what they're saying. It is also mysterious that these things came out of nowhere. For example, how exactly did we get here? Might we be asked by anyone who lived through decades of fierce prohibition and now buys pot at one or more of the 2,000 licensed dispensaries across the United States? It's asking an important question. How did we get here? Through manipulation. A new study about the power of committed minorities to shift conventional thinking offers some surprising possible answers. Published in this week's Science, the paper describes an online experiment in which researchers sought to determine what percentage of total population a minority needs to reach the critical mass necessary to reverse a minority viewpoint. To reverse a minority viewpoint. So it doesn't matter if what you're thinking is right. These people know the science of getting other people to come against the truth. Do you understand that? Do you get that? That they are studying and schooled in the science of counteracting truth and using the population to do it. Let's go on. Let's go on. The tipping point they found is just 25%. At and slightly above the level, contrarians were able to convert anywhere from 72 to 100% of the population of their respective groups. That is dangerous. Prior to the efforts of the minority, the population had been in 100% agreement about their original position. So that shows that the population can be thinking something, and these individuals know how to sway the population in a different direction. This is not about small elite with disproportionate resources, says Arnoud van de Retiet, a sociologist at Utrecht University in the Netherlands who studies social networks and collective action and was not involved in the study. It's about the Koch brothers influencing American public opinion. Rather, this is about a minority trying to change the status quo and succeeding by being unrelented. By committing to a new behavior, they repeatedly expose others to the new behavior until they start to copy it. The experiment was designed and led by Damon Centella, associate professor in the Annenberg School of Communications at the University of Pennsylvania. It involved 194 people randomly assigned to 10 independent online groups, which varied in size from 20 to 30 people. In the first step, group members were shown an image of a face and told to name it. They interacted with one another in rotating pairs until all agreed on a name. In the second step, Centello and his colleagues seeded each group with a small number of Confederates who attempted to overturn the established convention, the agreed-on name, by advancing a novel alternative. For the second step, as Centella explains it, the researchers began with a 15% minority model and gradually increased it to 35%. Nothing changed at 15%, and the established norm remained in place all the way up to 24%. The magic number, the tipping point, turned out to be 25%. Minority groups smaller than that converted, on average, just 6% of the population. Among other things, Centella says the 25% figure refutes a century of economic theory. The classic economic model, the main thing we are responding to with this study, basically says that once an equilibrium is established, in order to change it, you need 51%. And what these results says is no, a small minority can be really effective even when people resist the minority view. The team's computer modeling indicated a 25% minority would retain its power to reverse social convention for populations as large as 100,000. But the proportion has to be just right. One of the groups in the study consisted of, okay, and then go on to other things. You can read this on your own. But the thing I want you to understand is that what have they already done that you're not aware of? What manipulation, what behavior norms have you adapted that are not truly native to you? This is because populations, society, whole sectors of society can be manipulated and swayed in different directions because we don't understand who we truly are, which is consciousness. We don't understand that we all share the same collective consciousness. So we are ripe for manipulation and control. But of course, they pump through modern media and the universities that you're an independent thinker, you're not controlled, you're not a program, there's no social engineering. You have been lied to. The world works through occultism. The world works through magic. And if you don't understand that, then you're an agent. Unwillingly, maybe, but you're an agent. People ask me, well, why are there problems in relationships with white men and white women? Why are there problems in relationships with black women and black men? Because they're programmed to be that way. That is by design. Why can't minority populations stand up, take control, and defeat racism? Because you're not programmed to do that. That's not your agenda. Your agenda is infighting. And the more we seek external means and measures to rectify our problems, the deeper down the hole we go. No laws, no legislation, no political activism is going to work unless you start dealing with the collective consciousness and how people behave and how they think. In Africa, when people got out of pocket, the high priest would call the nation together and do a mass ritual to seed the collective consciousness so that behavior could take root and spread like a virus. The good behavior, the positive behavior. When the population got out of pocket, the pharaoh, the king, the queen did not put edicts together to pass new legislation. They didn't do that. You won't find that in Kemet. What they did do was gather everyone. It's a time for a full moon ritual, time for a massive ritual. We're going to slay cows, we're going to sacrifice, and we're going to have a feast, and we're going to do dancing, and then we're going to go into deep meditation, and then we're all going to visualize the correct behavior and seed the collective consciousness and watch it spread. That's how it works. That is what you're supposed to be doing. Oh, well, you're a white supremacist? Let me just make a new law that says that if you hit anybody, if you kill anybody, it's a hate crime, and then we're going to lock you away. Doesn't change the mindset. Doesn't change the idea. Because that person's idea can still take root and still spread. You didn't solve the problem. Now, I'm not saying that external legislation, laws, and all that are wrong. I'm not saying that. But they're merely external coercions to try and sway you from doing something when we need to attack the problem at its source. Do you feel me? Do you understand what I am saying to you? Because I am tired of repeating this to people who don't get it. You keep voting for someone else in office as if it's going to make a change. It will not make a change. It's just window dressing. You keep going to couples therapy. You keep saying that you can't get along with so-and-so. And I'm trying to tell you, you're not designed to get along with so-and-so. That the system is not designed to work politically. It's not designed to do that. It's designed to give you the illusion of inclusion and the illusion of change. You think that these organizations that come along, Black Lives Matter, LGBTQ, what else is there? Feminist organizations, men's rights organizations, come out of the woodwork and become popular and grow so quickly by just happenstance? They are seeded and put out there by the oligarchy. And then do the morphic resonance, then reaching the 20, they know they have to get those organizations to reach 25% of the population, and then it will spread. That's what they're designed to do, to manipulate them. See, people are in some ways very smart. But when you start working through the collective consciousness and uploading viruses and seeding it, they go in alignment and think as the virus dictates. You don't need these organizations, but these organizations are designed to socially engineer you toward a dark dystopian future, a very dark future. And we all go along with the organizations. We wear the rainbow colors. We wear the Black Lives Matter logos. We wear the feminist symbols. Meanwhile, all of these things were concocted and crafted. But that's okay if you would understand the 100 monkey principle and you start using it for your benefit, that you start to collectively resonate at a certain frequency that promotes love, harmony, union. But we're not doing that because they're clever. They have us caught up in the ego. They have us caught up thinking that we're independent thinkers. You're not an independent thinker. That's a joke. You think in accordance to what the virus within the collective consciousness, which we can call by another name, a pendulum or Ouroboros, wants you to think, how it wants you to act. There's a reason why black men are walking around, all of them, a lot of them 55 years old, thinking they're going to get a rap career going. Because they don't want you as a collective group of black men to get into the sciences, to get into tech. So they put in the collective consciousness, be a rapper, be a rapper. They put in the collective consciousness to white women, your men are oppressive. They're part of the patriarchy. Destroy the patriarchy. And then it spreads. And then, like the 100 Monkeys, you start replicating that behavior and thought process. But you swear by Almighty God, it was your idea. And that you are an independent thinker and you're going to collectively join with those of like mind, meaning those are all of those groups, those phony organizations. Well, not phony, I don't want to say that, but those organizations. It's all manipulation. It's all manipulation to push you in certain directions. And I'm going to honestly say this. Because the world owes a debt of gratitude to black people. Because black people were the first to come out and to actively talk about mind control. When black people came out and talked about the idea that you are supposed to act white, be white, love white Jesus, they were revealing to the world that there is mind control going on, that you're not allowed to be who you are. But those liberal whites and so-called progressive whites didn't get it. Of course, until they started reading George Orwell's 1984 and Aldous Huxley's A Brave New World, then they started to realize, hey, something's not right with our society. Well, black people have been saying this for a long time, that there's mind conditioning. When you see certain black people bleaching their skin and wearing blue contacts, that is evidence of mind control, serious mind control. Well, the white people didn't get it, but now they do. Now they understand, but they don't give black people credit for that, for exposing that. So let's give our ancestors and give black people credit for what we were exposing, which was the manipulation of the masses through the 100 monkey principle, through morphic resonance, through pendulums and ergobores. But we face a big problem now, because knowing is only half the battle. You've got to put into practice and apply this information, or else it's meaningless, or else you're just going to be an agent. This is where most in the conspiracy theory arena and the black national movement, or what have you, engage in intellectual masturbation. They say these things and they talk, and people, ooh, that's deep. Ooh, wow. Ooh, I didn't know that. Ooh, you are smart. You are schooled. You are a leader. No. I like David Icke's work. Not all of it. But he doesn't offer solutions. He just talks about the problems. Anyone can do that. I can walk down the street and say, there's a pothole. Watch your step. But do I know how to fix the pothole? That's a different story. So you have these people out there, all they do is talk about the pothole. You know what I mean? That's all they can do is talk about the pothole. They don't have the answers. A sage, someone who's really in touch with the universe and source, will come along and not only talk about the problem, but offer valid solutions. Buddha was one of them. I've been telling people that the problem is not racism. Every time I get on a broadcast, I ask people, how do you eradicate racism? And to this very day, how long have I been on YouTube? 15 years? I've been on YouTube and I tell people, how do you eradicate racism? And people still can't give me the answer. And I repeat the answer every broadcast and they still can't give it to me. Can anyone in the chat give me the answer? How do we eradicate racism? Not through legislation. And I've been saying it for years, but people aren't, you're not getting it. That's okay. I understand we haven't reached that 25% yet. I'm patient. It's okay. All right. We got time. We got a little bit of time, you know. We all initiates. We're learning. We're all learning. Sometimes I may have to repeat it over and over again before it takes root. Come on, Michael Lasser. How do we defeat racism? Give me the answer. Michelle, give me the answer. Let's have it. Lady Marie, beautiful Lady Marie, give me the answer. I'm waiting. I'm going to just take a drink. All right. We're going to take a quick commercial break. And when I come back, I want my Magi's to have the answer. And if you don't have the answer, it's okay. But, you know, I would love to know that you've been paying attention. So let's take a quick commercial break. And when I come back, I want to see if you have the answer.
Waters of none are the only waters that have been charged to help you with specific areas in your life. It was Dr. Emoto that discovered that water not only has memory, but it can be charged and coded. With this science in mind, we have used ancient techniques to charge these waters using crystals, mantras, and binaural beats. So try it today. Go to watersofnone.com.
Great, and cut. All right, so let's see the answers. I'll be honest with you. Meditate and see yourself becoming one with all. Good answer, but that's not correct. Meditation, good answer, not correct. We must see ourselves as we truly are in our divine state and power, or be caught up in illusions like good answer, not correct. What's the problem with the world today? What is the problem with the world today? That's a hint. Remember holistic thinking. Go back to our Chinese ancestors, the Nak people, homeopathy. We seek to deal with the cause, not the effect. Racism is an effect. We're seeing symptoms. But what is there we go. Took a little time, but you got it. All right. Michael Sarah, you got it. The problem with the world is left brain thinking. Left brain thinking breeds segregative thought process, separation, racism, sexism. When you are polarized in left brain, you think through concrete thinking. You only look at the physical attributes of a person. You look at them as a race, as a physical body. You look at them as a sex. Again, left brain thinking breeds sexism and racism. That is the problem. But when you introduce the right brain, whole brain thinking, what do you have? You have holistic thinking. Right brain is the connection to what? 5D, source, oneness with all. There's no racism. Right brain thinking is congregative. It seeks to bring things into the fold. It sees to the right brain always trying to find out, how are you alike me? What attributes do we have that are similar? That's how the right brain thinks. The right brain looks abstractly. The right brain says, oh, you are consciousness. The left brain looks at you and says, you are black. You are white. You are a physical body. The left brain thinks concrete. It doesn't think abstract. The left brain does not have morality. The right brain is the seat of morality. The right brain says, is this right that we do it? Is this moral? The left brain doesn't look at things that way. It's individual. It thinks about the survival of the individual. The right brain looks and says, how can we work together collectively? The left brain works through a different chemical process than the right brain. The left brain works through adrenaline. The right brain works through acetylcholine, which makes you more internal, more reflective. The left brain is sebek. The right brain is ma'at. Do you see? Do you understand now? Is one better than the other? Is one bad? Is one good? Don't get into that thinking, because the right brain doesn't see things that way. The right brain sees the opposite as a necessary part of the whole. The left brain sees the opposite as contradictory. Do you understand? So if you want to eradicate racism, you must bring holistic thinking back. We're thinking only through the left brain. The whole world, the population, through the 100 monkey principle in 325 AD with Roman Emperor Constantine, took us from integrated brain thinking, whole brain thinking, to left brain thinking. That's what he did. And he made sure that the entire planet would think from the left brain. Do you not understand that? So please remember this. So when people are talking to you as if they're so astute and they have the answer to racism, you tell them, well, why don't you tell me? And watch them get it wrong. And then you tell them that the problem with the world is left brain concrete thinking. It has dominated this planet since 325 AD. And if we can bring the world back, see, that's how the Kemetic people, the Mayans, the Chinese built their civilizations, built magnificent pyramids, because they were whole brain thinkers. They were right brain thinkers. See, when you think through the right brain is automatically going to hook up with the left brain, because it thinks congregatively. It looks to bring things into the fold. The right brain doesn't want to be isolated, but the left brain is always going to see that there's an outside. You see, our ancestors, when we thought to the right brain, we saw God from within, because the right brain is internal. When white people saw God, because the left brain looks externally, like I said, at a color, it looks at you as a gender or color. So since the left brain looks at externals, it created the notion of God as an external entity, not an eternal entity. So keep this in mind, my people. If you love what I've just disseminated to you, this bit of wisdom, please donate to the channel. I want to thank you for tuning in today. This is Qesankh by Keparu, son of Ma Duty. My aunt is the beautiful goddess Heatheroo. Until my next video. What's a good way to get out, to leave? So I say, Buddha bless you? Nah, I'm in Ra.